This video will look at how to manage some of the administrative settings for a supplier. So firstly we go to Merchant and then Products, and then from the Supplier drop down we click on Supplier List. From here we can then view the supplier's record by clicking the yellow magnifying glass on the relevant supplier. At the top of the page we then click Admin Edit. So most of the settings that you see here are based on data feeds, and typically we will manage the setup of this when configuring a new supplier data feed for your system. So the first checkbox here tells the system whether the supplier has a data feed attached to it, and by ticking this it will enroll the supplier into the supplier data feed workflow to let it know whether it should be checking for a data feed or not. The next checkbox allows you to prevent users from being able to edit the supplier's details. The alias is something that we use internally to reference the supplier from our code, so we do advise you take caution with editing that field. The database suffix is another field that we use internally to reference the supplier from our data feeds, so again we do recommend you take caution with editing that. The image root path and brochure root path are two locations on our web server designed to tell the system where the product images and brochures for this supplier will sit. The feed type defines a number of different settings which we use for the scheduling of the data feed, such as how long a data feed should run before it times out and how frequently it should check for the feed. And the last checkbox there allows us to configure a supplier to send EDI messages to third parties for purchase orders. And so just to recap, the settings that you're looking at here are really based around the setup and configuration of data feeds and should really be edited with caution because they can have an effect on the processing of your data feeds.